This is Back Talk by Successful Black Parenting Magazine, the most listened to podcast for parents by parents.
Hey there, everyone, and thank you for joining us on Back Talk, the talk show for Black parents. Today, we have Janice Stein, and she is the executive producer and co-creator of the new web series, Ashley World, the series, which features a single mom. And you know, I love that. I'm a proponent for moms trying to make it out there on their own, and doing the best they can. I'm always, of course, for two-parent family if possible, because it's all the help you can get, right? But when you're a single mom, it doesn't mean you can't do it. And you don't see that too much in a character, in a drama. So welcome. I really appreciate you being here, Janelle.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm extremely excited to be here, and I'm just glad that you invited me. Thank you.
Well, tell our guests a little bit about yourself and how you got started in producing overall.
Wow. I would say it started maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. I used to work with children as a drama instructor. It was a great way for me to share my love, my passion of acting with children, and able to give back to the young Janelles and, the young artists who want to learn the craft, but maybe don't have the resources or the access. So I was able to share that with them. And through working with the children, I started directing children's plays and really enjoyed it. And then I wanted to find a way to kind of bring it over to the adult side, and also try to find ways to create more opportunities for myself as an actor. Because, I think it's great to audition, but I also don't think that you should sit around and kind of wait for somebody to give you an opportunity. It's always great to create your own platform. Mm-hmm. So I then decided to start my own theater company called Blue Pearl Theatrics. And it was a great venture. We put on shows a couple of times a year, and we work with different actors from all across the nation. And so that's how I kind of got my start in producing.
Wow. So you now have a production company called Shoot for the Moon, right? Is that yours?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a partnership between me and my business partner, Domingo Martin, who also helped co-create and co-executive produce Ashley's World. So we formed that partnership. We actually started working on Ashley's World back in 2011. We've been developing it for a really long time, coming up, trying out different concepts, different storylines. And so, we started that partnership. So, and that is the platform that we use to launch Ashley's World.
Okay. All right. Now that's really, really good. So tell us a little bit about the character Ashley that you play in the storyline. Ashley
is a character that I started to come up with maybe a few years ago. She is actually loosely based on me, loosely. She's an artist. She's a single mom, and she is struggling to overcome poverty and follow her dreams. And, we're different in some ways, but we're very similar in a lot of ways. And I just wanted to find a way to tell the story of what it is to be a single mom and trying to balance all of these different things. Because as a mom, it's, your children come first. And so, you have to put a lot of things that you want to the side. But then, our own personal happiness is important too. And so I just wanted to kind of tell that story about what it's like to juggle, your work life, your home life, your passion. So that's pretty much what's going on with Ashley.
Okay, so does she just go through a daily life and a struggle, or what's the storyline about? Like, what have some of the past episodes that we can view been about so far?
So the first season of Ashley's World pretty much takes place. It's one day. It's like a day in the life of Ashley. Okay. The first episode, we see what it's like, what her morning is like. She lives with her mom, and she also lives with her teenage daughter. And, what is it like when we wanted to show what it's like when you have three strong women from different generations, all under the same roof, what those challenges are like. And, it's funny, but it's funny, but then it's also dramatic. There's like a lot of different components to it. And then we go into Ashley's life as an actor. We see what it's like going on auditions. We also get to see what it's like, when she hangs out with her friends, the girl talk that they have, what are their perspectives on relationships, career, with that, some of those concepts. And then we go back into her home life, what happens when you have to discipline your child, how do you handle it when your child is, being a bit rebellious, so yeah, we kind of try to cover all those different concepts in season 1. And in season 2, we're going to expound upon those things.
Okay.
And go on.
Okay. Now, in the show, the character Ashley is also a lesbian. So how does that go with the storyline? Does she have a girlfriend, or how does that play into the role? And is it something that's obvious, or is just suggested? I know that was in the press release. So how does that play into the whole storyline?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, we didn't really get to cover a lot of her relationship story in season 1. We mention it in episode 3 when she's talking about going on dates and things of that nature, and what lesbians want. But we didn't really get to show her in that scenario as much as we wanted to, because we had a very limited amount of time to kind of get everything in. Season 1 was kind of like an appetizer, if you will. So it was just kind of a taste. And almost for us as producers, like just kind of like a trial and error thing, just trying to see what works, put it out there and see how the people respond. So we didn't really have a lot of time to cover that. But in season 2, which we're in pre-production for right now, we're definitely going to be showing Ashley in a relationship with someone that she's been involved with for a while, and just kind of see how that impacts not only her personal life, but her life with her family. Because for me, I feel like when you're in a relationship, it's not just you and that person, it does impact your life in its entirety. And so we're going to show that in season 2.
That's good. I want to see how the storyline plays out, because we have so many different types of relationships. I'm not seeing a drama series take this type of role on. You got the single mom, and your mom is playing the lesbian role. I don't think I've ever seen that anywhere else. So this seems like, if I'm not wrong, this is unique, correct?
It definitely is, and that's why I wanted to put this out there, this show out there, because I definitely see, I see shows about single moms. And I see shows that are, geared towards the LGBT community, or maybe shows that feature lesbian characters, but I've never seen a show that talks about what it's like to be a single mom, a Black single mom, and to be in a lesbian relationship, which has its own unique differences. So yeah, this is something that is kind of new. At least for me, I haven't seen it either. So we're really excited about that.
No, it's definitely something to be excited about. And it is for sure a undertaking, because I know what it's like to produce shows. There is a lot going on there. Now with your production company, what's your background? I know you were an actress, right? What's your background as far as production, or do you have to depend on others? Did you learn everything from your acting career? How did you get all this experience?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like, it's not like I went to school for it. When I went to school, my mom was not really a fan of studying the arts. So a lot of the stuff I actually learned on my own, just kind of finding my way and seeing what worked. Like I said, when I started working with the kids, it was really I was just kind of thrown to the wolves, and I had to figure out how to piece together all these different elements. But I knew a lot from being an actor, how do you cast and what's needed backstage and all of that. So I just kind of pieced together everything that I knew. And then when I started producing the shows for Blue Pearl, I reached out to another actor friend of mine who was also very passionate. And, I said to him, hey, I want to start doing shows. And I learned a lot also from being a part of other theater companies and other shows as well, just seeing kind of how they do things behind the scenes. And so just taking bits and pieces of everything that I've known, everything that I've observed along the way, and kind of just, connecting those dots. So it's definitely been a journey, because obviously when you start out doing something and you haven't had formal training, there are going to be hiccups, there's going to be different obstacles, and you don't really know how to deal with them until you're placed in that situation. So I can definitely say I've learned a lot, but it's been a great experience, and each experience helps me to refine myself as a producer, as an artist, as an actor, and so it's better and better every time.
No, that's fantastic. Now, I'm a TV production teacher, so that's what I did before. Actually, I did the magazine first, then I became TV production and back to the magazine. So I have to ask you a question, like, what do you guys shoot with? You shooting obviously in HD because that's where we are, but like, what kind of cameras do you shoot with? This is for my students who might be watching.
Honestly, season 1 we used iPhone.
You used what? I didn't hear you.
We used an iPhone for season 1.
That works. Okay.
Yeah. And it's funny because like I'm used to, when we do the shows for the theater, we bring in videographers who have, sophisticated equipment. But Domingo, my partner Domingo, he's a very seasoned director, and he felt like we could do it with the iPhone. So that's what we use for season 1. Now, season 2, I don't know if we're going to go that route for season 2. We may, switch that up a little bit. We may actually opt for more sophisticated equipment for season 2, but we definitely use the iPhone for this go round.
Well, there's total film festivals now for just iPhone. So don't discount your iPhones, guys, because iPhones are doing some amazing productions out here. And I use mine when I'm on vacation and I don't want to bring my big camera, or if I'm just don't want to, you do it professionally all the time. You just don't always want to like bring all this equipment. So a lot of times I use my iPhone. It comes out great. You just have to know how to manipulate light and how to use it. So yeah, I tell my students all the time, don't discount an iPad or even an iPhone. You guys can really do some creative things with that, and all the gadgets that come with it nowadays. You can have great sound with it. You can have Steadicam kind of type of production. So yes, don't discount that at all. Now let's go back into the single parent stuff a little bit. Because that's one of my favorite topics. So only 39% of African American children in here live with both parents today. Those are statistics from 2016. 39% live with both parents. So that's a lot of kids still like that are with single moms. And there's been that stigma that single moms, they raise children who are like corrupt or are bad, and and so that's not true necessarily, because I was a single mom for most of my children's lives, and my children are now successful adults and wonderful parents, and they're not single moms. So I want to kind of talk about that a little bit and see how does the show address some of those difficulties and stigmas. Can you hear me?
Wow, it's funny that you bring that
right?
that you bring that up, because there was something that I wanted to touch on. We had got a comment on YouTube about a week ago, and somebody said, that we were glorifying single motherhood or single parenthood. And when I read the comment, it struck me. I was taken aback, because there's nothing glorious about having to balance everything by yourself. Excuse me, sip of water. There's nothing glorious about having the responsibility of raising. Excuse me.
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm just getting over a cold. Give me a moment. There's nothing glorious about having to. Sorry, I'm having a moment with my throat right now.
No, go ahead. Take a break. Take a minute. We're going to take a break right now. I'm going to put up her link to her website where you can see all of the shows. Let me hide this for a minute so it can come up. Let's show that. It's not working today. Let's see what's going on.
All right.
Interesting. So, yeah. So I'm just looking to see what's going on here. We're having some technical difficulties over here too. I'm trying to show your website that I have up here, but it just doesn't want to show up right now. No, let's do this. Let's see what's going on, I think. But anyway, yeah, tell me about that comment while I figure this out and see why this isn't deciding not to show up today. Okay, go ahead.
It took me aback because there's nothing glorious about it. It's not something that I'm going to just speak for myself. I can't speak for anybody else.
Go for it.
It's not something that I said that I want to set out to do. Oh, I want to raise this child by myself. It is a situation that happened. You know, me personally, I had my daughter very young, and you know, her father, he had other things going on, and it was his decision to not be involved. And so it was something that I just had to do by myself, not something that I chose to do, not something that I wanted to do. I definitely think it is important for children to have both parents. That would be ideal, but the world isn't ideal all the time, and we don't always get what we want, and we have to find a way to move forward and do the best we can with what we have. And so, you know, I just kind of wanted to address that because, yeah, there are a lot of stigmas. You know, I definitely think that it takes a lot of tenacity. It takes a lot of courage to say, you know what, I'm going to work this job. I'm going to pay these bills. I'm going to make sure that I raise my child with these values. I'm going to make sure that I give my child everything that he or she needs to not only thrive in this world, but become the best person that they absolutely can, you know, to even maybe be better than you. It's not an easy job. So, you know, we wanted to kind of talk about some of that in Ashley's world. And, you know, Ashley's mother is also a single mom. So there's like you know, this is like a generational thing. Again, it's not something that's ideal. It's not something that we're trying to glorify, but it is real life for some of us. And, you know, the whole point of Ashley's world is just to show people that there are these types of situations. There are these types of characters. There are these are real life stories. You know, Ashley's World is a fictional show. It is very fictional, but there are some elements that are inspired by real life scenarios. And I think it's important for everybody to have a voice and for everybody to see a reflection of themselves when they're watching television or a series. You know, and we watch everybody else's story all the time. You know, you watch TV, you see, you know, you see something like Friends, or you see something like The Modern Family. But when I'm watching these shows, which I love, by the way, when you're watching these shows, I don't see myself as a Black single mom. I don't see my story. And I think it's important to know that you know, that I have a voice, that there is a reflection of myself or other young women like myself, that we can see, hey, you know, this person is going through the same struggles that I go through. Wow, I'm not alone. You know, because it is easy to feel like, you know, sometimes, I know me personally, there's been times where I've had struggles with my child, and I felt very isolated, and I felt like, wow, like, am I the only person going through this? And, you know, so we just kind of want to show that, hey, we all struggle. You know, we all struggle as single moms. We all go through different things, you know, whether your child is in elementary school, whether your child is a teenager, whether your child is an adult. as a parent, that's a lifetime responsibility. It's a lifetime job, and there's always going to be different struggles, and you're not alone. You're not alone. We're all going through it. And, we just kind of want to, support other Black moms that way, and just, let them know it's going to be all right. And you're going to get through it. You just have to stay in the game. You just have to you just have to persevere, be resilient. And, we're here for you. Get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I get that comment a lot about single moms, and I agree with everything you said. And the thing is, when I was a single mom, I didn't choose to be a single mom. I started off being a married mom. It's like you said, real life things don't always work out, and that's not everybody's story. And no one's glorifying anything. It's just the way it is. What we're glorifying is being able to do it and do it successfully is the amazing part. Like that, because you're balancing, and I had 3. So balancing 3 kids with one parent is difficult to do. However, both parents are important, but in real life, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. So I agree with you 100%. In my case, I'm the one that decided to leave, and then people get this idea that, the man left her. And no, sometimes the women will say, I can do bad by myself, or, he's not the one that I thought he was, or whatever the reason is, that this is causing their life not to be better, not to be glorified, not to be what you think always 2 parents in the family is. So it's not that people are glorifying being single parents. Sometimes that might be the better option for that person. Not everyone's life is the same. If we were all the same, diversity wouldn't matter now, would it? So it doesn't mean to say that you can't be a great single mom. I did it. I think I was as great as I could be. My kids would agree for the most part. I'm sure they got something to say about something. Everybody does. But I did my best. And my goal was to make them more successful than I am. And they are. So I achieved that goal. And I fought to do that. So, so I hate that stigma about single moms being contributing to the juvenile delinquents of society. That's not the case in every case, just like it's not the case in every case with any other ethnic group or any other culture or any other demographic. It is not the case. So I'm so glad that you talked about that. And I hope to see some of those issues that Ashley will have to go through and empower even other single moms as she goes. So I think that's really, really important to see, since you're tackling on this whole single parent type of movement with the show. So that's awesome. And
we're going to do that.
Okay. Now, how many episodes have you produced so far? You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, so season 1 is 5 episodes. Like I said, we just had a limited amount of time to try to get all these different things into the 5 episodes. We just wanted to, because it was our first time producing on film. I've done the theater shows many times, but this is our first time approaching film. So we only had 5 episodes to try to squeeze in all these different things. So we didn't really get to touch on a lot, but definitely season 2 is going to be 10 episodes. The episodes are going to be a lot longer in season 2, so we'll be able to explore a lot more moving forward. So
and how long are they now? How long is each episode?
So right now, for season 1, the episodes are roughly about 5 minutes. We just wanted to keep it short and sweet because, we're in an age where everybody's attention span is like 2 seconds. And, starting out, we wanted to just do something where we could get their attention and kind of just quickly introduce the characters, like I said, kind of like an appetizer. So everything was kind of short and sweet for season 1. But for season 2, the episodes are going to be longer. We're going to definitely, they're going to be more complex. And, there's going to be about 10 of them moving forward. So we'll have a lot more about, a lot more to explore. And we are definitely going to show the struggle of being a single mom, especially being a single mom in a poverty-stricken area. Because that was another thing that was really important because, growing up in an area that is inner city urban, poverty stricken. There's a lot of different things that you're fighting against. As a single mom, you're already trying to keep your child on the right track and make sure that they have these values and that they grow up to be, a better version of you. But when you're dealing with an environment that is depressed economically, and you have all of these different ripple effects from that in this environment, you have drugs, you have crime, you have all these different things that you're trying to shield your child from, but you live and are immersed in this environment, it makes it even more challenging. And I don't really think I've seen that so far. When I see shows, I've seen it, but not quite the way that I've experienced it. So that's something that we're gonna, show in season 2, what it's like. It's really like a tug of war, because you're fighting to save your child from all of it, and you're doing it by yourself, and especially, living at home with your mother, which is the child's grandmother, she has her own set of things that she's dealing with. So Ashley's trying to, in a sense, take care of her mom, take care of her child, and still be true to herself. So,
right. And that's what a lot of families are doing these days. They have extended family that they're living with for various reasons. Most of us because of student loan debt. So there's a lot of people that will stay with their parents, and they have kids. So you have these multiple generations living in the same household. And we've always done that as a culture. Anyway, that's normal to us. Even when Michelle Obama moved into the White House, she brought who? Her mom. Her mama was right there. And people start talking about that, and we're like, oh, hey, no, back up. That's what we do. Get over it. Get over it. So, yeah, so I love that that's in there too, so that, the culture is also reflected. Anything coming up in the near future that viewers should look out for, or that you want them to know?
Well, definitely look out for season 2 of Ashley's World. Like I said, we're in pre-production right now. So we'll be shooting through the summertime for a late summer, early fall launch. We're really excited about that, because again, we're going to be really going in deep on all of the different struggles that we have as single moms. So yeah, look out for that. The website is www.ashleysworldseries.com. You can also find out what I'm doing on www.janellestein.com. So yeah, as long as you have those 2 website addresses, you'll be well informed as to what we're doing moving forward.
Okay, and I'm sorry, it's not working for some reason for me to put that up. So I have it right here. So it's ashleysworldtheseries.com. Ashley is plural. Ashley's World. Well, it's not really plural, but it's can't put the apostrophe in there. ashleysworldtheseries.com. Let's get that right. ashleysworldtheseries.com. I just want to make sure you got that. Now you did talk a little bit about some negativity that you've gotten for the show. How's the support been for the show? And then have you had any other pushback? And if so, how did you handle that?
No, actually, that was the only comment that we got that was negative. Everything has been positive, well received. People seem to really enjoy it. The only other feedback I got was that they want more. People want longer episodes. They want to know more about the characters. So we'll definitely be giving more in season 2. But yeah, overall, we've been getting a lot of love and a lot of support, and I'm just so thankful for that. And that gives me exactly what's necessary to push forward. If I know that this is something that people want to see, that people need to see, then I'm definitely going to do everything in my power to make sure we bring it to you. It's nice like you're appreciated, or that your work is appreciated. So yeah, we've been getting a lot of great feedback. I'm excited about it.
So what are you most excited about with the show?
I just love the, honestly, it's really, for me right now, we started it was just an idea. It was something that was an idea back in 2011, hey, we should do this show. And, it's easy to have ideas. It's easy to have dreams. But a lot of the time, they usually just stay that way. They just kind of stay in your head. So what's really great about this is that it started as an idea and we stayed consistent and we made sure that we met up consistently. We went through different ideas. We drafted out different storylines. Originally, Penny, the daughter in the series, was supposed to be like a 6-year-old. And then, we decided to not go with her being 6, but go with her being a teenager. We went through all these different transitions and we tried to figure out what's the best way to do it. And obviously it's been a few years that this has been in development. And then, once you've done all of that, then you still have the production aspect, casting the actors, going through different actors because, some actors sign up and then they decide that they can't do it and you have to replace them. And then you have to deal with production assistants and crew and all these different elements. So the fact that we did all of that, we managed to do all of that. And I am not going to lie, I was still working as a drama instructor. So I wasn't bucks, I really didn't have money to do it. But by the grace of God, thank God we were able to get it together on a shoestring budget. And we actually shot the series, and then there's post-production, as you know, so then there's the editing process and finding the episodes and trying to get the material that you need into this 5-minute block. There were just so many different aspects of putting this together. So the fact that we actually executed and we did it, and it's actually online for everybody to see right now, that's a huge accomplishment for us. Just being artists, being producers, being passionate about our work, to actually see something go from an idea in your head to being something that's tangible, that has materialized, and knowing that you actually did that just by being consistent, that is the best feeling. To know that you can do what you want to do as long as you stay with it. That really makes me happy.
I'm glad to hear that. Yes. Being able to do what you want to do is amazing. So you're on the YouTube platform, and we're going a little bit over, but you're on the YouTube platform. So I want to know about this too, because I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs as well as parents. So how does one even, is it sponsorship that you make money doing this, or is it that it gets monetized per views? I know that can happen for sure. So how does do you get sponsors? Are you looking for sponsors? Put that right out there.
We are definitely open to and looking for sponsors. So if anybody out there wants to help us with this show, please reach out. You can email us at info@ashleysworldtheseries.com. We would love to collaborate. We would love to cross promote. So definitely reach out. But yeah, as of right now, we have not had any sponsors yet. We did this with money from our own pockets and our own paychecks. So, which is it's not easy because, again, being a parent, you still have bills and you still have all these other real life responsibilities. So to take money, and invest it into a project like this it's not something that is easy. It's not something that everybody can do. But it's something that me being an artist, I'm driven by my passion and I have to do what I love. And so I don't know how I find a way, but I definitely work hard like everybody else. I go to work, and I save my coins and just save them up, stack them up, and then I invest into these projects. But, I know there's a lot of things like Kickstarter and Indiegogo. People do fundraisers and there are sponsorships. And it is something that my partner Domingo and I have been talking about exploring. But up to this point, we haven't had that opportunity yet. But again, if anybody out there wants to sponsor us, wants to cross promote with us, wants to collaborate, please reach out. We would love to hear from you.
Well, I wish you the best of luck in the world with all of this that you're doing with this production. I think this is very, very good for society. It's good for YouTube. It's good for anyone who's watching it, and it's entertaining. One last question for you. Any advice for parents who have children that want to enter into acting? I think they might want to know that.
That is I would say, honestly, what I would say is listen to your child. If your child tells you, mom or dad, hey, this is what I want to do, and they keep talking about it, and you see that this is something that they're very convicted about, and this is something that they want to do, definitely make it your business to go and find a program to reinforce those skills that this child is telling you that they want to learn. That is something that is extremely important, because I think a lot of parents, they have this idea of what they want their kids to do or this career path that they want their kids to follow. And a lot of times it's easy to kind of just say, oh, well, they're a kid. They don't really know what they're talking about, and kind of overlook what the child is telling you. But I think, sometimes kids know what they want. I knew what I wanted at a very young age. And despite my mother wanting me to go into a different direction, I'm an adult and I'm still talking about it. So had my mother listened when I was younger and actually took the time, she did put me in little programs here or there, but she didn't allow me to pursue it as aggressively as I wish she would have. And had I gone into it as aggressively as I wanted to at a younger age, it would have definitely helped me figure things out as an adult, and I would probably be a lot further along. At least I think so. So I'm very big on listen to your child, pay attention to your child. Think of, if you see that your child is always wanting to do a certain activity, or they're always talking about it, or they're always just doing it, even if they don't say it, really just watch, listen, observe, pay attention to them. And if you see that this is something that they really enjoy, that their heart desires, then support them in that, reinforce them, find a program. Even if you don't have the money for it, there are always programs that offer different skill sets. You just have to do your research. So that's what I would say.
Okay. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. So let me put this up again. I'm going to put up your promo for the show. And again, she has a website, which makes it easy for you to view the shows. It's called Ashley'sWorldTheSeries.com. Please go and check it out. Definitely click. She always can use the views, as they go up. It helps her out. And I want to thank you, Janelle. Thank you for coming on Back Talk, the talk show for Black parents. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. And I also want to say thank you for having this platform, and for encouraging young Black moms and Black women to do these different things and to continue to pursue their dreams and their goals. Thank you so much, for the encouragement, for the love. It is hugely appreciated. Thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate that. For the people that are watching, we had a few viewers. If you're watching, be sure to follow us on social media at Black Parenting One. Ashley's at Ashley's World NY, right? Make sure I got it right. And okay, we were the first Black parenting magazine in print in the nation way back in the 90s, and we're back. We stopped publishing for a lot of years. I won't mention because I feel old. But we're back now, and we're relaunching. We're starting with social media and our website. We're looking for investors in the summer. We are looking for people that want to do strategic partnerships. And then our phase 3 is to actually go back to print, and we definitely have a strategy for that. So if you're interested, come talk to me. Again, we're at Black Parenting One on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. So until next time, we'll see you soon. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to Back Talk by Successful Black Parenting Magazine. We'll see you soon.